You're listening to the Business and Life Podcast, where 7 days a week, proven entrepreneurs share their success stories, failures, and give you true value on how you can build a great business and an awesome life. With your host, Mike Olivas.
What's up, guys? This is the best of episode. This is a great way for you to get the best advice for some of the best entrepreneurs out there. So if you love what you hear, make sure you go back to that episode. So they're all in order for the week. If you like Sound Bomb number 1, go back to that episode on Monday. If you resonate with that interviewee's advice on number 3 Sound Bomb, then go back to that episode on the Wednesday prior and listen to them in depth and hear their business and life story. Enjoy, but more importantly, implement.
Follow your heart. So I think I have a copy right here. I'll pull it out. So
yeah,
anytime I'm blessed to be able to put one of these in someone's hands, or they put it in my hand, they would like me to inscribe it. What I sign on the front page of this book, Pivot, is follow your heart. Follow your heart. That to me is the greatest signal to our minds, but really it's just a thing that when we pay attention to the message that our heart has to give us, it's never wrong. The message that comes from the heart is never wrong. It's the mind that has questions, the heart has answers. And I know it's general, and yet everybody knows what it's like when something deep inside of you says I should do this or I shouldn't do this. And yet we override it. We override those things. And that's where my greatest mistakes have come from. And those mistakes have all led to learnings that I had to have. I mean, so I don't look at any of that stuff and go, oh, that was really devastating. You know, it's like, no, there's nothing that's devastating.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that's going to annihilate us. We just have to really every day wake up a little bit more, be a little bit more conscious. And that's what the heart will do for us.
I know people have said it before, but that idea of really making the decision based on what you want, not based on what you're trying to avoid. And, you know, as cliche as that has become, we see it every day, all day long, that people will tell us they want one thing, and then when they're presented with an opportunity to make that happen, they come up with every excuse in the book. Well, I can't because my spouse won't like it, or I can't travel. I mean, I literally had someone once who didn't come to an event because the deer would eat her tomatoes in the garden. And, you know, it's like, well, I guess you want tomatoes more than you want your business. I mean, this is crazy, right? Crazy making out there. So you got to stop the crazy making. Really listen to what you're saying. A lot of you guys, you're like, you know, you operate on autopilot, and you've started to believe your own stories and excuses. And actually, if you step back and listen to what you're saying, it's completely illogical. Yeah. So, you know, it's really about making those decisions, not just quickly, but making the decisions not based on being afraid of something or trying to avoid something, but making the decision based on the vision that you have.
Hire people smarter than you and get around people smarter than you. I've forced myself to be around people that are ahead of me in business where it makes me uncomfortable. And then I became comfortable in that environment. And then once I became comfortable, I knew I needed to level up and get around another group of people that is uncomfortable for me. And every time that I do that, I just see my network increase, my ability to make a phone call and get incredible insight on different business opportunities has just, you know, completely changed the game for me. But I also do that with employees. I want business partners and employees that are really good at stuff. I want them to be better than me, even in my zone of genius, whether it's marketing or sales or operations. I want them to be, it's easy to hire somebody that's better than you in your weakness, but I want to hire people that are better than me in my strengths.
You need to learn the difference between investing and speculating. Now, it's okay to speculate. I mean, Facebook, Google, all these type of amazing, wild successes started as speculations. But you know what? There's other people who have done very well, and they're not as flashy and glamorous, like Warren Buffett. Who've done pretty well for themselves by not speculating at all, but by investing. Now, the difference is this. Speculating is when your principal is not at all safe. and you've got a chance to make a return. Investing is when your principal is generally very safe and you've got a chance to make a return. Now, Jeff Zuckerberg asked, I said it wrong again. I did that the other day. Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, they both talked to Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
And Mark asked him, Warren, why doesn't everybody copy your model? It's simple. We can all see what you're doing. Why doesn't everybody do that? And Warren laughed and said, oh, no. Nobody wants to get wealthy that slow. And, speculating is more fun. And as entrepreneurs, we sometimes mix up investing and speculating, and we think that, we're frontier, we're on the leading edge, we're doing something here. Well, if you keep playing double or nothing with all your money, you'll eventually end up with nothing and you'll have nothing left to double.
Go from what you vision and dream with everything and calculate and say, okay, X is going to get me Y and this will be there. I think sometimes you just have to go out there with courage. And once you're doing it, an opportunity, doors just open. It's just opportunity kind of comes to those who are bold and take the first step. And we've had a lot of wonderful opportunities that have come along the way and great people we've met and some really neat projects.
I would have to say consistency on top of that, because you're not going to have a successful business or YouTube channel or website if you're not consistently putting new stuff out there, challenging yourself, putting yourself in front of the camera or putting that pen to paper just every day, every week, whatever it is for you, just keep doing it. And you'll get better and success will come. And feed yourself good thoughts every single morning. And until you go to bed, read something positive, something encouraging. Books are a great thing.
Podcasts like this one.
Yeah.
Mike, I think you've done 50-something podcasts. So, here you are, being consistent with something.
Yeah, you're sharing expanders with your community, people who help others, expand their minds.
And so many times we've heard your, counterpart of what you spend time listening to or the people you're around. And I think being around people that are encouraging and motivating really takes you such a long way.
People who are doing what you want to do. So us living with YouTubers right now is encouraging for us to continue, do better, do more.
Yeah.
We talked about not holding yourself back and having awareness and pushing forward. But then once you start on the journey and you push forward, then a lot of people will get stuck, or they'll find ways out of things rather than finding your way into things. And so there's a fine balance between just pushing forward and having tunnel vision and being aware of what is in your path and taking feedback and making adjustments and tweaks. And I think the most successful entrepreneurs are not only good at persevering, but they're good at making adjustments. And so, Instagram, which is one of the biggest platforms that we all use, started out as a location-based app to find your friends in different locations that you were going to be in. And they found that based on feedback, people were gravitating towards their photo filters, and then they adapted the platform because that's where they saw people were going. And so, if you're seeing people that don't like your product, or that your marketing might not be hitting the mark, or the way you're talking to your consumers or your team or whatever it might be, you have to be open to make adjustments. You have to be open to self-reflect. You have to be open to taking feedback, processing which feedback that you actually use to make changes and which that you can discard, because you also don't want to blow in the wind and just respond to everyone's feedback. And so I think, it's important to first start and not hold yourself back, but then keep moving forward. But moving forward doesn't mean a straight line. Moving forward means that you're going to weave and you're going to make adjustments along the way. And it's paying attention to those adjustments that are really going to be what determines your success.
Life Nation, you got to remember that in order for things to change, you must change. And in order for things to get better, you must get better. You just got better by hanging out with me, Michael Libas, and the Business and Life Nation. So come back tomorrow, because I'm here dropping sound bombs 7 days a week, baby. If you'd like to subscribe, please do, so you can take action and execute. See you tomorrow.